You are welcome to Home Builders TV, and today, by the special grace of God, shall be having a nice time together on the Family Corner. My name is Akon David Oluwabiniga, and I will be your host for today, and our speaker, the person God will be using for us in today's series, is here with us. Can we meet you, sir? You are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Ojemuyiwa Samuel is my name.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. All right, I would like to introduce our speaker to you. Our speaker today is someone that is well learned when it comes to issue of marriage and relationship. He's an engineer by profession, and he studied electronics engineering. And he has over 20 years experience in marriage. So I want to believe that you can be rest assured that justice shall be done concerning the topic we are going to treat today. The topic for today's series is communication. Communication in Christian homes. So I would like to start with this. When we are talking about Christian home, what can we say about effective communication in Christian homes?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about effective communication in Christian home, communication in Christian home has to do with spreading understanding for people to be concerned with the information being given. Then going through in a broad way, communication too has to do with the relationship, spreading information within the family setup, where father will be able to give a useful information to the mother, then the parent will be able to pass useful information even to the children, thereby promoting home, giving a home a success. We look at communication in another way, because when a line of communication is not open, you find it difficult. You find a lot of resentment even in home. You find a lot of uproaring in home, because there is no way you want to pass certain useful and critical messages even onto the other side. Communication is an idea where you'll be able to give a useful information even to the other hand, which has to do between, when we talk about home, between the parents, the children, between the husband and wife, and even between parents and siblings.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Can we say communication is the major need of a Christian? What if someone decides not to communicate using the excuse of their temperament? You know, temperament ranging from introvert to extrovert, melancholy, and all of that. What are the major needs of communication to sustain a Christian home?
Thank you. When we talk about communication in home, we are talking about a vital aspects in home, whereby if it's not being found in home, you find difficulties from left to right in that particular home, in that house.
Yes.
You have difficulties there. So, which means at every point in time, line of communication must be open for it to be effective. You see, there are certain things that you pass across. For instance, that will take me even to get across to us that we have about two major types of communication. We have the verbal communication, and at the same time, we have the non-verbal communication. When we talk about the verbal communication, this has to do with the use of our phone nowadays. I want to pass a particular useful message across to you, and you are not with me, and it's an information that is very crucial. So I pass it across to you through phone, through SMS messages. These are verbal communication, or face-to-face. I discuss some things with you. These are verbal communication. But when we talk about non-verbal communication, we are talking about the body language. That is what you show onto people. For instance, there are certain things I want to pass across to you that I didn't want the third party even to know about it, and it's very sensitive and it's timing for that particular period. So definitely I use a body action. There are certain things I just pass across to you with my body language, and immediately you decode that particular message and you act on it. Another thing about the sensitivity of the effectiveness of communication has to do with taking action and response at that particular time, because failure to respond at that particular time will mean that communication is ineffective, because it will have been medicine after yes.
All right. Now, as we have discussed with us on the major need of communication, let's take for instance people that have issues with location. Let's take for instance the husband works in Abuja, the wife works in Lagos, and they reside in Ibadan, and they need to communicate. What can we improvise in between that barrier that they have in communication and talking of further to ensure that they have an effective communication? Because it is not easy when it comes to different location for both parties in the whole.
Yes. Another thing I will have to at this particular juncture has to do with inviting God, the most communicator of life, into. When you invite God, there are certain things, the sensitivity of the information you want to pass across to the particular person that is not within your vicinity. God will be speaking some things unto you that maybe you text message, you pass it through a phone discussion, and at times you even pray some things over. For instance, maybe God has revealed certain things about the danger that that particular partner is facing in a different location, but immediately you get that thing and you know you agree in prayer at that partner. That's one of the ways that you make communication effective. Not that when that particular person comes from Abuja, that you now say, okay, God showed to me that you have an accident after several. So maybe that thing will have, it will have been. In fact, how do you now contain that?
So are you suggesting, or are you approving the fact that locations, faraway locations, when it comes to marriage should be allowed? Do you support that notion when it comes to communication, with the importance of communication that you just mentioned?
Yes. One, we look at the present situation we find ourselves in this modern world, and thank God for the emergence of this use of phone, text messages, email, sent messages and co. You find out that by that you'll be able to pass the relevant information to the particular place at that particular point in time.
So
unlike in those, yes,
bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a barrier. Distance is not a barrier in passing communication across to anybody and in making it more effective. It's not a barrier. In fact, it will be more dangerous even to home. That even because there are certain things that you even look at it that you wouldn't even want. Maybe if I should say this, it might happen between a husband and a wife. Maybe peradventure you see something that is wrong, but because of the fear, you didn't want to say that thing, and that thing is very sensitive and very crucial that you have to say it. But out of the fact that maybe my husband will not want to hear that thing, is the truth that God has revealed unto you. Maybe God is showing you something that is happening at the other hand, and you do certain investigation and find out the truth. For you to confront the husband, you say, how do I tell my husband that the secretary is moving out with the secretary in his office? The fear comes to you. But if you allow that fear and you fail to communicate at that particular time, there will be problem in that home, which might not be so.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, What are the factors that causes ineffectiveness when it comes to communication in a Christian world? Factors. Now there are availability, there is avenue for communication, but yet husband and wife are not communicating effectively. What factor is affecting that home?
Yes. One, there are many factors that are affecting effective communication in home. One has to do with, like what I said earlier, has to do with the fear of what will come out if I should say this thing. That's why the fact that the issue is very sensitive. The fear of what I will find out of my husband or from my wife. You see, we find some wife dominating home with the resources they have. And because of that, the husband might look at it that if I should tell you that, look, I've gotten certain information that you are going out with some people, she will stop giving his financial assistance to home. You see, the fear can be a kind of obstacle, one, in passing effective communication at home. Then secondly, when you find out that an issue of command, you see, level of communication has to do with patience. There are certain issues that you don't just handle carelessly. But in a situation, for instance, husband that look at him as the head of the family and want to say, this is what I want. Certainly you look at it that he's passing certain information, but the information is not proper in that sense, because it's like you are using a command in that home, which at times the wife will look at it that, look, why did my husband always give command about a palaver and he will not even allow me even to talk. You see, it can be an obstacle. Then when someone fails, like I said initially, that God is involved in communication. If you look at the beginning, the Bible talks about that in Genesis chapter 1, that in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and the earth was without form, and the Spirit of the Lord was moving her. But at the point that God said, let there be light, in verse 3, light came and everything was settled, and it started communicating, let there be this, it will come, let there be this, until even when we get to where man was formed. You understand? And even from that extent, man even commanded, to communicate even to the whole world that this is the, after creating Eve for him, he said, this is the bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And if you look at what Hebrews chapter 13 verse 16 said, he said to do good, but to do good and to communicate the sacrifice that is well pleased even unto God. So you find out that there is no way from Genesis to Revelation that you rule out the word communication.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. We need to appreciate our speaker for today. Thank you for following us. And I want to believe with this light that has been shared on the basic need on communication, your home, your family is revived to have an effective communication in the name of Jesus. Till we meet in the next series on this Youth Corner and Family Corner on Home Builders TV, we want to say have a wonderful day. God bless you.